So what we're going to do now is demonstrate the best way to change the motors on a Q6 Edge 2.0. First of all, I'm going to utilize looks like a 13 millimeter socket with a short extension on it. I use the short extension to keep it identified in my tool bag. That way I don't have to hunt for it. I know which one it is. And we're going to loosen all of the lugs first before we lift it up off the ground. And when I say lift it off the ground, I'm going to use a block of styrofoam that comes in the bottom of the wheelchair crates. I just cut 3 levels of it and kind of taped them together a little bit, and I use that as a chalk. You see how easily that was done? Just kind of tilt it up and kick it over. You sit down here on the floor. Go ahead and take the wheel the rest of the way off. Now that the wheel is off, you need to take off the fender so we have good access to all the bolts, which is pretty easy. It is a Phillips head screwdriver. It has 2 screws. So I'm going to use a 6 millimeter Allen wrench to take out or back out the bolt in the center. And then I'm going to use this little pull that I picked up at Harbor Freight to actually get it started. And then we're going to pull it off. It actually broke free pretty easily. Most of them don't break free that easily. So here's your key. You have a keyway on the inside. We're going to take that key out, generally because we're going to actually be using it in this piece. Next, we're going to use a 5 millimeter Allen wrench to take off these 4 bolts. One here, one here, one here. Now I like to take off these 3 first and leave the bottom corner towards the motor in, because you're going to notice that there's a pivot right here that will help us actually put the new motor in place. Now I'm going to offload that bolt. I'm going to go ahead and completely take it out. And the motor drops just like that. Okay. On the back, we have this plate that actually is what is sandwiched between the mount and the back of the motor. From here, we're going to go ahead and pull these loose all the way back into the back, and this plugs into the AAM, or to the power module. My mistake. Once you have your new motor, you just take your motor and reverse the process. We're going to take this piece, put it on the back. Turn it around so you can see. So this piece goes on the back of the motor like such. And we're going to rotate the motor. Remember, I was talking about a pivot. That pivot is right here where my thumb is. I'm going to put that on the pivot. We're going to pull it up just like so. And then the bottom. Stick these bolts back in, making sure that the plate is staying against the back side of the motor. We get all three of them started after we did the first one in the pivot. All right, bolt them back on. Like I said, this plugs into the power module where the old one unplugged. That's accessible through the back panel that we have to take off to find the serial number on these units anyway. So the next step is let's put the hub on. Take the hub, we're going to line it up in its keyway. Knock it on. I usually put a little bit of white lithium grease on the inside so that if I ever have to take it off again, it comes off nice and easy. This has a little dot of blue thread lock on it, and it will require a 6mm Allen wrench to tighten this back down. And get it good and tight. Then we will put the wheel, oops. Actually, the next thing we need to do is the fender. You'll see a little bit of the mud inside there that I didn't get all out when I cleaned it. the lug nuts back on it. And that's how you would change a motor. Keep in mind, we would have to open up the back and plug the new motor into the power module where the old motor unplugged. Thank you very much.